Hello everyone. Today's problem is LeetCode 515. Find largest value in each tree row. So here we are given a root of a binary tree. We have to return an array of the largest value in each row of the tree. So here is an example. This is given as the root is 1. In the next level we have 3 and 2, and the child are 5, 3 and 9. So here we can see the output is 1, 3 and 9. In these types of problems we can use BFS, which will deal with the rows or levels of a binary tree. With BFS we can handle one row of the tree at a time. So in that case, say here on the first traversal, BFS will traverse the node 1 with value 1. So here there is only one value. We will have 1, that is the largest value in this row. The next one we have 3 and 2. So out of that, 3 is the largest, and the last row is 5, 3, 9. This is the largest value. We can use a priority queue, a heap for each row, and then the max value will be on the top of the heap. Now we are going straight into the coding. So here we'll check if the root is null of the tree. In that case, we'll just return the empty list. This is the base case. Now we have to initialize a vector or array which will keep the result, and then we'll call a BFS function. In the BFS function we'll send the root node and this result vector, and it will be just returned. We are still writing the BFS code. So the first parameter is the tree node, that is the node that is sent from the main code, and the second parameter will be the vector where we will store the result. Now in case of BFS, we know we have to use a queue. The queue will be of type the tree node, and we will push this node into the queue. This will be the source node. Now we will need some more variables like queue size, and also we have to count the number of variables, how many elements are there in each row. Now we'll just check if we have checked all the variables. Before that, we have to check if the queue is empty for BFS traversal, and we will keep a priority queue. You can also use just a maximum value. Here we are just keeping it as a priority queue. In that case, we don't need to add any logic. The priority queue is the heap that will keep the highest value at its top. Now we have to traverse the array, the row. So for each row, we know that count is the number of elements we have traversed, we have calculated, and queue size is the size of the queue. Now in a temporary node, we will keep the queue front node and we'll pop it, and we'll check if we'll push the value in a heap. So the heap will calculate the maximum value it will keep at its top. That's the basic property of a heap. Now we'll check if the left node is not null. In that case, we'll push that into the queue. That's the basic BFS. In case of right node, we'll check the same. We'll check the null, and then if it's not null, we'll push in the queue. Now this loop is finished. This is ends, which will calculate all the row calculations. Now we'll check if the heap size is actually an integer, so we can check that. In that case, we will just push back the top of the heap and it will be kept in the result. Now we are running this. You can see the test cases are passed. Now we will submit the code. As you can see, this is accepted. Then we can check the time complexity and the space complexity of the code. Here you can improve it by removing the heap and use a max value for each row.
If you like the content, please share and subscribe the channel Design Your Thought.